All right. So great to be alive. So great to be live on YouTube. My first time ever. I'm gonna launch my Instagram live stream too now. Oh, live. Okay. One second, fellas. Wonderful. Okay. Today's Thursday, the October the 13th, and I'm starting first of many webinars, many live streams to come. I will predominantly predominantly cover the topic of presenting ideas in English because I feel like this is my core expertise. But I will also spice it up with some facts from my experience, some examples from business, successful stories, and so on and so forth. Hey, how are you? And so today's topic is about presenting the ideas in English. It's a rather wide topic, and when I was thinking how to approach it, I realized that you gotta chop it up. You gotta, take one step at a time. So today we're gonna be talking why in the world should we be concerned about how we present our ideas, what we can do to do it better, well, and in general why there's even a necessity to do it for Ukrainians in particular, because I'm a Ukrainian, я українець, я хочу, щоб мої співвітчизники прокачували свої скіли щодо бізнес-комунікації на англійській. By the way, guys, can you type down which language do you prefer? Do you prefer English or do you prefer English mixed up with Ukrainian? Hey, how are you? I'll do English for now, but I think that maybe at some point I'll be mixing it up with Ukrainian because I can switch languages in midway. Але я вважаю, що ми всі вчимо англійську, і треба вчитися розуміти comprehend English, right? Alexander wants to mix. Okay, Alexander. I'll do a little bit of both. I'll go in English for now. I'll juggle two languages later. Okay, so when we talk about presenting ideas in English, I think what the first thing that needs to be addressed is where can we capitalize on the efficient presentation of ideas. And when people hear presentation, especially in post-Soviet countries, this is my belief. I believe that people think about PowerPoint, and slides and stuff of this matter. In reality, presenting your ideas could happen in one-on-one communication with a friend, talking to a woman somewhere where you present yourself as a man. You can talk to people in some kind of an informal networking event. You can persuade, I don't know, someone to buy something from you. You can offer your services, right? You can well, and it can be, this is like one-on-one communication, but it could be also a presentation to a wide audience, an idea that you want it to go viral. And of course, job interviews is something that a lot of Ukrainians are going through now. Yeah, like, need to kind of pass interviews, and that's why the first question obviously is, could you please present yourself and stuff of this nature. And to me, presenting yourself or presenting your ideas is all about sincerity. It's all about uh, not like persuading someone, not insisting on something, not kind of imposing your will on anyone. It's about sharing something that you truly believe in, right? And it makes it so easy to present ideas that you are a fan of, that game's over when you understand that's the main key. So if you truly believe in something, it makes it easy to present. Now, some answers to the question why uh, you why you need to present yourself. For example, if you have a unique character, we're all individuals, and we all have a unique set of values, characteristics, and skills that we just need to be able to present and explain concisely. This is the first thing. The second thing, you want people to see you who you are. This is specifically applicable to job interviews, because I get this question all the time: how can I pass an interview? How do I respond to this question? And my instantaneous reply is like, tell the truth, right? But you need to be able to kind of convey the message, like explain yourself in the most efficient way. So, but you don't want to be someone else. 100%, you want to be yourself when explain, like when presenting yourself. Uh, and What are some notes that I have? Yeah, and preparation to me is the key. This phrase that failing to plan is planning to fail. That's a foregone conclusion, that you don't prepare, chances are high that you're gonna fail. And there is a great quote from Tony Robbins. He says that where focus goes, energy flows. So the more you can set your mind to like upcoming like communication in English, like maybe if you're new in the neighborhood, you change location, you like live in Europe now, yeah, like a lot of Ukrainians do now, and you need to go and have just a friendly chit chat with neighbors. Whatever is going to happen, set your mind to this, think about it, kind of practice this, try to speak out loud, just to sound up your ideas, write them down, also a good trick. um, Another thing that is really really helpful for me to get people's attention is to send something tell something extraordinary, something that is not you know, trivial. Yeah, people like we're leaning, we're as people we're leaning towards uh, folks who are not afraid to challenge status quo. And we can draw examples from the history of humankind. Wright brothers, who invented like the first airplane, and who didn't, who just were believers, or crazy guys who wanted to fly, or Apple, who decided to bring a personal computer into our pocket. Yeah, so sometimes we want to hear out these crazy ideas, and we're kind of drawn to people who believe that they can, like, that impossible is nothing, that, you know, that impossible is possible. So one of the interesting tricks, and I think that internet, TikTok, or whatever medium's doing now, it uh, kind of promotes these clickbait, right? Clickbait approach. So the more screaming title you do, the better it is. So one of the hints that you can use is to basically say something really, really extraordinary, right? And something even unbelievable about yourself, but not come off as arrogant, right? And this is an interesting, to me personally, this is a really interesting balance that you gotta sort of sustain. You don't want to be humble all the way. Well, at least in my experience, being humble and being self-deprecating could be could be destructive for you, right? So I find that you got to be somewhere in the middle, find this middle ground between being self-deprecating and being arrogant. And you don't want to brag too much, right? You don't want to say stuff that will put you in a light like, I'm this god figure, I've achieved this, but you also don't want to downgrade your accomplishments. Yeah. Well, for me personally, it has been a real challenge to like find this middle ground, how to present myself. Now finally I'm kind of getting there. Yeah. um what else? Yeah, simplicity. So the lesson about simplicity in presenting yourself, or presenting your idea in business, or saying a toast, telling a toast in English, right? Or giving a pep talk. You know what pep talk, right? Is a motivational speech, or whatever speech in whatever setting, like business online meeting or offline meeting, whatever. I think that simplicity rules the freaking world. I think that people who want to complicate things are the ones who, like, I don't want to cast any aspersions, but these people for the most part got problems with self-esteem. So the more complicated terms the person is using, the more they want to show off. The more they want to draw attention to themselves and say, "Hey," wave their hands and say, "Hey, I'm important. I'm knowledgeable. I'm successful. I know all these words." And I think that if you know all the terms, if you're aware of like different business definitions and stuff like that, that's cool. That's cool. But if you want to kind of, if you want to be, if you want to connect, here, this is the instrumental word. If you want to connect with people, you use simple language. And I think that's good news. Це дуже гарна новина для українців, що не треба вивчати супер неймовірно складний language. Так, не треба вивчати супер неймовірно складну мову, супер неймовірно складний словник на англійській, щоб себе презентувати. Насамперед, треба, як я вже сказав, поговорити з собою чесно, зрозуміти, про що ви, і незважаючи на це, на те, чи це співбесіда, чи ви знайомитеся з дівчиною, чи ви на мітингу якомусь якусь мотиваційну промову робите, чи взагалі де б не було, треба казати те, в що ви дуже віруєте самі. Тому що енергія тільки від людей, які щось кажуть з with passion, right? I don't know what Ukrainian for passion. Anyway, so if you're passionate about something, say it, right? And actually, I'm preparing course right now. It's going to be ready in a month, and there I'm going to facilitate my students with ready to use templates that you guys can use. Наснага, так, дякую, Марина. Ready to use templates that you guys can use to sound passionate, to come off like people, like we don't want to imitate passion, right? You got to be passionate about something, but there are just words that you can use that trigger other people, right? It's gonna be ready. I'm preparing all this stuff for my course. It's gonna be ready like in a month. Yeah. Тому це дуже класна порада. Дійсно, грати у сторону того, у що ви дуже віруєте. І це круто, зав'язувати свою презентацію на ваших цінностях. Так? Тому що скіли, вони приходять і уходять. Я у 2014, якому? 16-17, коли практикував активно бізнес у електронній комерції, так? Я знав кучу всякого. Зараз воно все залишилося у мене в пасивній пам'яті. Так як залишаються англійські слова, які ви знаєте, але не можете використовувати. So it's all a matter of practicing, right? So yeah. Okay. Moving along. Yeah, some tricks that I can share now. Intrigue people so they want to hear more. So this is if you imagine like a funnel, right? A sales funnel. You kind of have the widest space at the top, right? And for example, if you generate leads like you sprinkle down leads and they kind of get through all the funnel stages to finally become your customer. That's the usual funnel. The same approach could be applied to the presentation of yourself. So on the highest level, you say, for example, some catchy phrase, something that I already mentioned, like a clickbait phrase that you would use on a title for your video or a post, like a help Ukrainians to become global citizens, right? Some people might get interested and ask, "Hey, what's that? What do you mean? Like, how do you?" Then on the level beneath, like underneath, you reveal more. You say, "Hey, I do coaching sessions. I prepare, like I am developing some courses based on my business experience, internationally, and I want to share my experience to help people to succeed, globally." And then even on the deeper level, you tell even more and more. So I think this is a pretty valid approach to presenting yourself or presenting your ideas. But again, it depends on who's your listener. If you want to impress, for example, there is such a thing as elevator pitch, right? So an elevator pitch is you having like 30 seconds to kind of engage with the person while you sharing like an elevator lift, like you kind of in an elevator getting to whatever stage, and you have like you see this person, you need to present. I don't know, for example, if you're an entrepreneur and this is an investor, you kind of need to deliver it in your idea in really concise terms, right? And yeah, this is where you can't use the funnel, right? But at least you here is interest. Here is something that I used in my life numerously. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you about this. So and I've been asked by my friends like, dude, like when I was like an active entrepreneur, I was seeking out successful business people, and I was trying to pick their brains. Right? I was trying to find out like how do you do that? How did you achieve this result? How do you measure this? How do you hire people like that? How do you make them like keep them motivated and stuff like that? And and I got some like interesting results. Like I would just write a message, or I would come over to a person, a really high standing entrepreneur, and I would just spark up. I would just start a conversation, and with the conversation starter, if you put some work into like thinking like how would you approach a person and what word would you say, it kind of works because, for example, Dmitry Dubilet, he's a founder like a monobank and Smartass, a super contemporary fitness club in Kiev in Ukraine. And I met him in this club, in this fitness club, and I asked him about how do they measure how do they measure customer success, and if what they rely on is on customer like surveys solely, because they would send you a lot of surveys, quizzes, right? Like tell us how satisfied you are with blah 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 blah. So I started this conversation because if you know what the person's business is doing, but like this small research would help you to establish a rapport with him. Another example, at the conference in Odessa, a dude who created Template Monster. He yelled at millions on it. He's now he's now a politician working with Zelensky. David, his name is David Brown. Now he uses his different surname, and I remember I was super excited. I was super mm, uh, obsessed about customers' journeys, and I wanted to know. And this guy, he was always talking about customer journeys, so I knew that. So that's like your superpower. That's your super knowledge. So if you have this knowledge about someone, and you know that you have like 30 seconds or 1 minute to establish a connection and maybe set yourself up for further communication, maybe meet for a coffee, what you gotta do is you gotta like break the ice early. And I went over and said, "Hey, David, I know that you're a proponent of customer journeys. So am I. My business is academic copywriting for students in America. What would you do?" Blah 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 blah. And he was like, "Okay, this guy knows knows what he's talking about," and we engaged in conversation. So it like, but this is an advice for startuppers who want to find investors. So you gotta do your research and know who you're talking to, and learn about their business just a little bit, so that they understand that you did your homework, right? So that's super important. But just when you're in an unknown environment, like surroundings, and you want to make some new connections, you want to present yourself, just number one advice is just to be yourself, and know what you want to translate to the world. What is this something that you truly believe in, right? Because for me, for example, I believe that money is not important. Like I consider money to be a fuel to our fire, right? But it's not the fire itself, right? So money is just something that helps you attain your global goals, and maybe these goals are beyond life. And since I realized that this is my true core belief, like I think that I won't find people like people won't like me, those who don't share this belief, but those who share this belief, right? Because it's rather extraordinary, right? It's rather um, you know sort of strange to feel like that. They can kind of sympathize with me, and I'll definitely have more chances to make friends with them, and I don't know, like maybe even engage with partnership and whatever. Yeah. So so yeah, I told about the perfect balance between being humble and being arrogant. Another tip of advice is boom, 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 boom. Oh, a giver's mentality. So a giver's mentality, I think that not all of us want to give first, right? It's an uphill climb to this place in life where you finally willing to give back. Usually for men, I don't know, like maybe for women too, or maybe I'm not qualified to even tell which age group does that. But for me, it happened at 30. At 30 years old, I realized that hey, now I want to give back, even without having the abundance of things, even don't I'm not having the abundance of wealth or connections or stuff. I realize that I will be only fulfilled through giving back. And I think that when you show up, either you're whether you're communicating to your friends or audience from the stage or just a group of your colleagues in the meeting, if you show up to give first, that just radically changes the game, because people understand that you're not there to show off, you're not there to just showcase yourself to make yourself, like, of course you're gonna make yourself feel better, right? You're gonna feed your ego, but it's not about ego. We need to dissolve our ego, be able to try to think about the audience first. What do they want? What do they want to hear? And stuff of this nature. So connecting with the audience is really possible through uh, giving first, right? Now this tip is instrumental. The way we present is just as important as what we're presenting. This is a quote by my beloved Simon Sinek. So the way we present is just as important as what we present. And I've been religiously stating that what we say doesn't matter as much as we think. That your mimics and you know how you uh, kind of carry out yourself from the standpoint of a body language and stuff like that really matters. If you're relaxed, for God's sake, right? And I remember this interesting uh, moment from my life where we would get like a dose of praise. Like our investors would praise us, and they're really composed people. They're not they weren't smiling that much. If you like, it was really difficult to impress them because people are millionaires, right? And they were delivering us the praise when we hit our numbers. They were complimenting us with no emotional response. So it was so, and this is the lesson that testifies, to this, that we didn't feel like they share their emotions or the positive energy with us, because their praise, their compliments were totally left out, totally like the emotional the emotional part was really missing there, right? So I think that, and the same thing goes for an investment pitch. Like if you meet a like a person who got the money, right? And you are a startup owner, you're this young hungry entrepreneur, and for some reason you deliver your idea or you describe your startup without fire in your belly, without being pumped up, there's just something not clicking there. Something's wrong, right? So you gotta connect the emotional um, kind of part in this. So you gotta you gotta spice up your speech with emotions. Otherwise, it just won't do the trick. Yeah, and it's interesting how some people who are really composed, who are really uptight, hey, I have a beautiful, one of a kind idea that will revolutionize our world. Blah blah blah. So instead, like I got this one of a kind idea. I've been working on it with my team. We're all going crazy. We've done all the market research. It's gonna change the world. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, because we're emotional creatures and we scan emotions faster than the person could even say a word, right? Yeah. Okay. How about self irony? Self irony is another trick, another hint that I think could help. Well, first of all, it's a good humbling method. So um, if you get to this point where you feel like you're entitled to be arrogant, sometimes you can ironize or even laugh at yourself and be self-deprecating, but to an extent, right? So just say that for me, for example, sometimes I say, "What do you do?" I do videos on TikTok, and I like how it sounds because it kind of catch people off guard. What the hell? Like, how do you make money in videos on TikTok? You know. Um, Another piece of advice is, not be like self-deprecating, like all the way, but just spill a little bites, a little crumbles of self irony, just to let the people see that you can laugh at yourself. I think laughing at yourself is such a powerful uh, tool. Um, okay, the next piece of advice is to understand the game you're in. And sometimes, we think that people care about something that we care deeply. In reality, they might not care about it at all. So if you need to make a great first impression, let's take a job interview. You've been the best, like uh, I don't know, like you've been really really great in retaining customers. So your retention rate is through the roof. People would come back to you. But if you tell this to a company that don't care about long-term value, that don't care about the repetitive sales, and all they care about the market cap, right? And the number. So if they care about the quantity, not the quality, you care about quality. But if they care about quantity, you gotta realize quick that this is not the game that they're playing. So you got to understand, like, this guy who created Zappos. It's a shoe empire, a really big shoe company in America. He said that, and he was a player, poker player, and he said that when you see that the poker table that you're playing at is not your table, it's never too late to change the table. So by changing the table, but by understanding the game that you're playing, you will up your chances, increase your chances in in presenting yourself like the way that that will work. But again, it comes down to my initial point that if you play the game that you don't even like in the first place, for example, you're about the quality, they're about the quantity. They want to sell 1,000 items per month, and you were like, hey, I better have 50 customers, not 1,000 customers, but these 50 customers would be like just supremely grateful and super thankful and happy, right? They would recommend you to their peers and stuff of this nature. But when they may recommend, we're going to recommend, no one knows. This is the problem with the measurement systems in business because human relationships could not be measured. You don't know how the viral effect gonna go. You know how when exactly people gonna recommend them to their peers. All the sometimes companies are super focused, obsessively focused on the numbers, and they forget that you know people are people, and you to trust and things that you cannot measure also is super important. And yeah, so you got to understand what game you're playing. So again, if you desperately need a job, for example, I recently gave like this coaching session to a lady who was preparing for a job in Netherlands, and she doesn't have that much choice. You know, she works in an industry, and they don't have a lot of openings. So you gotta survey the job market first. You gotta see how many positions are there in general for you to apply. And if you know that you maybe you can't impose your ideas on them. Maybe you gotta play it cool just to get a position. Then maybe it's okay to kind of go with the flow. Okay, you guys need this. I can do this. She was actually asked, can you work under pressure? And she didn't like this question because she obviously doesn't like companies that force you to uh, kind of work under pressure, force you to, I don't know, like take extra shifts or stuff like that. And she got frozen. She like got into cold feet basically. And but again, when you know that the stakes are high, that you don't have that much room to maneuver, you don't have that much choice. You gotta play it cool. You just gotta say, hey, yeah, I can work under pressure. That's totally fine. But again, I think that stepping on your own neck, like if you betray your own values and your own beliefs just to get a job, or just engage in some communication, or involve in some experience, or like these people who seem like they're fake. These are people who get to where they are through fake activities, through faking their real interest. So I would never ever recommend anyone getting a job that contradict your values. You can't, you just can't do that. It just, in short term, it can rectify your financial issues. It can help you to get paid, get a paycheck. But long term, like what, you're gonna be dissatisfied. You're gonna get like in a state of depression, stuff like that. Believe me, I know what I'm talking about. I've been there. That's why you gotta think twice before accepting anything. An invitation to a party from a friend that you're not on the same page with, like a job offer to a company that which culture doesn't seem to fit you. And it just something that you gotta be wary of. You know. So yeah. And last but not least, Oh yeah, piggybacking of my previous idea. It's all about who you are. So presenting an idea, presenting yourself, requesting a budget, or I don't know, meeting a new people, making an acquaintance, just making a great impression, all boils down to revealing who you are, not what you have. What you have doesn't matter, right? We want to share energy, exchange energy with like-minded people, and you can only get this state, this feeling of this mutual binding energy if you find if the person translates something that you a believer of. Do you understand? Like you can't tell, like, hey, I have a Mercedes Benz, I have an apartment on the hills, and and I own a business. Who gives a fuck? You people We're drawn to people based on who they are, not what they possess. We love what we do because it brings us a specific set of emotions, right? Not this, like the financial result. Yeah. So always try to extend and give people your true self, and I think in this way you will maybe not get what you initially want, because this person might be about something different, but you will definitely stay true to yourself, and somewhere down the road, by developing your true nature, you will find the place, like a perfect fit for you. Like I can tell it from my experience. There are a lot of temptations that are, so socially accepted and socially cool. But if you stay true to who you are, true to yourself, and you kind of say no, because saying no is the hardest thing in life, and that's the coolest thing at the same time. If you say no, say no, say no, and then suddenly out of the blue there is an opportunity of a lifetime, and you're ready for it because you've been kind of waiting for it to happen. You've been doing something, right? You know what luck is? Like, there are three types of luck. There is a blind luck, right? Like $1 million just fell on your head. But there is a luck where you kind of pull it to closer to yourself due to the number of attempts. So the harder you try, the closer you are to get lucky. Yeah. I'm up all night to get fun. I'm up all night to get lucky. So the more you try, the more you kind of the universe works in mysterious ways. So it kind of will send you this gift later, somewhere down the road. But you gotta be able to say no to the temptation on your path. This is an interesting extension of this philosophy, that if you try, yes, later you're gonna get your perfect opportunity that you shouldn't waste at the same time. But you gotta say no to things that don't complement your story, right? Okay, and to end up this session, I will say, like, I will bring the quote by Tony Robbins. He says that your past doesn't mean your future. And if you associate yourself with what you've done, with the experience that you had, yeah, sure. I myself, I put down that I was a CEO and a co-founder of a business, but it does not identify who I am. It does not speak for who I am. That was just my experience. I actually speak for who I am now, with like the ideas and messages that I'm trying to spread, right? And the things that I believe. Maybe they are naive, but I believe. So yeah, your past does not necessarily mean your future. You can change the direction of your life. You can pivot because everything is freaking possible. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, guys. Once again, I have some spots left for individual consultation, a free one, because I need feedback. I need people to, uh, you know, share some feedback on their impression of me. And I also started this course, and it's gonna be ready in a month. And I left I left a link in my profile description on YouTube. You can find it in description to this video. So there's you can sign up as an early bird. We're gonna have like a course in November. Yeah, yeah, folks. You have any questions? You want to ask me something? Gee, it's so hot here. I don't know why it's so hot. Okay, guys, if you have no questions, thank you to all of you who spent your time, your precious time. I know time is the most valuable asset, and I'm forever grateful for your support because I'm just starting this journey, this infopreneurship. I like the term infopreneurship. I just started this infopreneurship journey, and I think that I have enough to share with, and I want to share, and I want to serve people. I want to be helpful, especially now with Ukrainians uh, just located all over the world. I want to help them to get a job, to find themselves and discover who they truly are. І так вже сталося, що я роблю це на англійській, і зараз вже на українській. Будемо міксувати інколи. Тому що це класний формат, так? Подобається, коли я переходжу з англійської на українську? Бачу серденько. Комусь подобається. Добре. All right. Yeah, guys. Дуже важлива інформація. Запис цього вебінару, цього ефіру буде доступний для того, хто підписаний на мій телеграм-канал. Ось так. Я вже як професійний інфобізнесмен кажу. So if you subscribe to my Telegram channel, you'll get an access to this video. Yeah. Other than that, thank you for coming, and have a cheerful evening. Yeah. Bye-bye.